Let me first of all say a very hearty afternoon or evening to all of you gathered there. I want to adopt the protocol that has been already established. But I must first of all give thanks to the Almighty for this day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. I thank the Lord for all the blessings He has graciously bestowed upon me for these 90 plus years of my life. And today, I want to begin by thanking the Honorable Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris and the Cabinet of the Team Unity Government for this great honor of having this great, beautiful, marvelous health facility in my honoring my name. I am indeed very humbled and extremely grateful for such high recognition. I would like at this point also to extend and express congratulations to the Team Unity government for the past successful 5 years. And now at the beginning of their second term, to pray God's wisdom, His continual guidance. I would like also to thank all the residents of Tabernacle, Sadlers, Lavington, Mansion, Molyneux, Keon, and indeed the entire Federation for their love and support, and thank the Lord for giving me the ability to serve. I grew up in this village, and as you've heard before, attended the Methodist Church and started primary school in the church then up to the old school on Mission Street. At the age of between 4 and 5 years, my mother lost her sight. And so we moved from Main Street with my grandmother, Mary Rouse. If you would just take a few steps east of this building, and on your right hand going east, not very far from here, there was where I was born. To my mother, Henrietta Felto Paris, and my father, Ariel Alexander Paris. He, at the time, was working as a cook, or I understood, on a vessel by the name of Lady Sylvia. And that same evening, when he came in from work, he was told that he had a baby girl. And so he said, "That's my Lady Sylvia." And that's how I got my name. As I told you, my mother was blind, but she was very independent. Being a seamstress before losing her sight, she continued sewing with her hands. I had to make sure to thread all her needles before leaving school and rethread them at lunchtime. I owe so much to her and my grandmother for their loving care and sacrifice. Thanks to all those who molded my life, the school teachers, the ministers, the deaconesses. My mother was my mentor, spiritually, morally, and in every part of my life. Her desire for me was to have a good education and be a teacher. But first of all, I wanted to be a deaconess in the church, being shepherded by 3 deaconesses, Sister Gladys Cook, Sister Vera Richardson, and Sister Dorothy. But after realizing that we didn't have the money to go to seminary training, my desire was to be a nurse. At the age of 13 years, I had already acquired 3 7th standard certificates, as I had skipped 4th and 6th standards at the primary level. But as the good Lord would have it, I was invited by the butlers to spend a few days of the summer vacation in Bastille with them. Mr. Claude Butler, who was related to my grandfather, realized my potentials and came up not only with an idea, but pursued that I should not return to primary school and needed me to attend high school. In those days, it was a boys' grammar school, it was the girls' high school, and it was a convent high school. And all you had, they were payable. And so Mr. Butler took it on his own, decided to go and have a talk with my father. And he himself was influential in registering me in the convent high school. After leaving the convent high school, remember there were no graduation in those days, and after obtaining a junior Cambridge certificate, I applied for nursing at the then Cunningham Hospital, but was put on the waiting list. During the time of waiting, I was offered a job at the parochial school in Georgetown, and there I taught for 2 to 3 years, still waiting to be called to be a nurse. My aunt, who was residing in Antigua, came down on vacation, and she was very pleased at my accomplishment at teaching, but found out that it wasn't really my heart's desire. My heart's desire was nursing. She then invited me to try Antigua and apply for nursing. I resigned from teaching, went to Antigua, applied for nursing, and received the same, put on the waiting list. Please join me now in my journey from Antigua in the name of the Lord. And she said, if it's God's will to bring you back here, He will keep me alive until you get back. And I've asked the Lord to take me before He takes Mommy, my brother, my mother. I went along still with a heavy heart, but I said, my mother said to go, and I will go. And so I applied to both hospitals. When I got there, I was advised to go and have interviews. The first hospital somehow did not come up to me, but on the second one, I had such a welcome there, and I said that was the place for me. And so my nursing career started right there in High Wycombe, in Buckinghamshire, in England. And those were some of the best years of my life. Even now, I go over them with smiles and laughter. They were good days. But when I returned to St. Kitts, yes, I met my mother and my grandmother alive, just as she had promised. And just as she said that she would pass away before her mother, she did so in 1963. I returned to St. Kitts in 1966, and shortly after I arrived, I began again to apply for nursing here. The JNF hospital had just been opened up, and I thought, well, I'm going to get a post there as a staff nurse. And to my disappointment, I heard that there were no vacancies. I applied again to the district, and again, there were no vacancies. Disappointed and heartbroken. But I was advised to do private midwifery, and there is where I started. Again, in 1967, the opportunity opened because the nurse that was at Tabernacle at the time, her husband, who was a manager of Estridge Estate, he was transferred to Buckley's estate, and so she had to leave. And that vacancy I was able to fulfill. But when I got my first salary, it was only $150, minus $15 for tax. So I ended up with $135 in my hand. Frustrated and with tears. Can this do? But I had a husband who was not willing to travel again. So we had to remain right there in St. Kitts. And what comforted me again were the words of my mother: take little and live long. And so all through this perseverance, I just kept going with a desire to serve and do all that I could. And because I did it as unto the Lord, God himself rewarded me. And in time, I got the promotion. And I give God all the praise, all the thanks. And so I want at this time to say thank you to my late husband and to my children for their love, for their support, and for their patience through the hard times. And also to my family members who have given me their support. I know the Freights family, they're there this afternoon, and I would have wanted them to stand for me right there in Tabernacle. Stand up, each and every one of you. And I thank you for your support and your love to Cousin Sylvia. And so once again, I want to say thank you to Dr. Timothy Harris. Thank you for his love. Thank you for his support. Thank you for the cabinet, all the cabinet members. Those who were there before, and even those who are there now. I want to say a big thank you for all you're doing for the Federation. And I say, God bless you all, and God bless the Federation of St. Christopher and me. Thank you.